Miles George was a session I did on a dog in spirit. So he had passed away. And, right away he came through and he just had all this love for mom. Like everything was about mom, 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 mom. And he was right away showing me, like, I am always with you, mom. So sometimes when I do these sessions, an animal will give me impression, like I come in, I dip in and out, I check on you, but he's like, no, I am with my mom all the time. And so he starts showing me like all these cute little things he did when he was alive and just really showing his personality. So mom can, verify, yep, this is Miles George. We're talking to the right dog here. And so he was talking about how he really loved to go on walks when he was alive. They didn't go on many, he said, but he loved them. They were very freeing. And he said, Mom doesn't go on walks anymore. And he goes, and I really want her to go on walks. I want her in the fresh air. I want her in the sun. I want her to go out and do that. And so she goes, yeah, I really don't go on any walks anymore. So right away, he's like kind of telling her, hey, mom, get it together. Go out and walk with, take care of yourself. And so then you start talking about like a grandma vibe, grandma. I'm like, well, did your mom really like Miles George? She's like, oh yeah. So he's just showing me how much he loved grandma. And then he's telling me that his mom was kind of like a first-time dog mom, and he really thought it was cute and silly and funny watching her like fumble through trying to raise a dog. And he shows me he's like a very vocal boy. And he's like, yeah, I was just telling her. I was telling her what I wanted. I was telling her how to do it. I was just like making sure she understood. So she confirms all this. Very vocal boy. She was fumbling around for quite a bit, but she had him for like 13 years. So they were very, very bonded. And so as we're going through the session, he starts talking about grandma again. He's like, oh, I love seeing grandma. I love to go see grandma. I love to go see grandma. So I'm thinking like grandma's alive, right? Because he keeps saying he's going to see her. And she's like, and I was like, well, is your mom still alive? And she's like, no. And I was like, oh, okay. I get it. So Miles George starts telling me he still sees grandma all the time. He says, grandma's not here with mom all the time like I am. I'm here all the time. I never leave. He's like, but grandma comes and goes, and I love it when I get to see her. And he says, grandma's still got a lot of people to look after, and she has a lot to do. So that's why she's not here all the time. And so then he kind of shows me his end of life. So he starts talking about like how he felt so young and healthy, and then just something happened, and he just like had this rapid deterioration, and he was just gone. But he shows me like taking this last breath, just like this, and then he's gone. And he's just telling me it was really, really peaceful, and I want mom to know that. And so I asked her, but I said, look, he just makes me feel like this was just really fast, very unexpected. But he wants you to know how peaceful it was. And so she tells me, yeah, he was, even though he was 13, he was young and doing well. And then one day he just got sick and found out like his spleen had ruptured, and then maybe he had a sarcoma, and he just died. And she was there for his last breath. And he's showing me how the grief between his passing and her mom passing was like the same. And he was just showing me like, you grieve just as hard for him as you did. Like it felt the same as losing your mom. And she's just like, yeah, it's exactly right. And so he's explaining like how hard he knows this is on her. But he says she doesn't want another dog, and I really want her to get another one. And so she's like, yeah, I just don't know that I could handle that. And so Miles George says, mom, I know this is a lot. I know it was a lot. You're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't want to have to go through raising another puppy and falling in love and then having this hard ending. He goes, but my mom is such a good dog mom. It would be a travesty if she didn't give that to another dog. And he wasn't trying to push her. He's like, I know you're not ready yet, mom, but I really want you when you're ready to get another dog. So he's telling her this. And he's just reminding her that, he's always around. And he says he feels really regret, not regret for himself. Like he was okay leaving. He feels amazing now, but that she didn't have time to process his end of life before it happened. And it was so sudden. And so I asked him about that. I was like, well, Miles George, do you know why it happened like that? And he just said that she needed to go through that trauma experience of losing him the way she did for her to learn more about life and living. And he wouldn't tell me why, and that's okay. Sometimes they don't tell us everything. And he said, my purpose in life was to help you grow as a human, and I'm still doing that. I'm still by your side, and I'm still doing that. And he shows me him in spirit sleeping next to her head, saying he does this to help protect her dreams from negativity because he wants her to have sweet dreams. And so I'm telling her this. I'm like, did he do that in life? She goes, yeah, in life, that's where he liked to sleep. I said, well, he's still there. And he's telling me that he doesn't really show her signs. He goes, I don't show her signs because she's not ready. She's not ready to believe it. He's like, my mom will believe in this stuff for everybody else, but she doesn't believe like it could happen to her. Like the good, the magic, all of this stuff could happen to her. So then he shows me like she's getting ready to go on a trip. I was like, well, are you getting ready to leave and go somewhere, like an adventure or a trip? And she's like, well, I have a work trip. And he's like, no, it's not that. It's not that. He's like, this is for her. And so she kind of reluctant was like, well, I was thinking of next month going on a trip to go see family. And Miles George is like, she needs to go. Tell mom she needs to go. He's like, my mom is so strong and so independent and works so hard. He goes, but she also can put up really, really hard boundaries with people. And she's starting to disconnect herself from people. And he goes, and I do not want her to do that. He goes, if she keeps disconnecting herself from people, she's just going to become more jaded and more harsh. And he goes, and I don't want that. So you tell her she needs to go. And so she's like, okay, all right. Then he starts talking about how she used to be so creative and she's kind of cut herself off from that too. And she confirms, yeah, she was, and she's not like that anymore. And he's like, you need to be more creative. You need to tap into that side of yourself. He was like, my mom used to have, such an imagination when she was younger and was all of these things. And he goes, and I want her to do that again so she can tap into this magical, open-hearted piece of herself, because I don't want her to be disconnected and jaded. And I want her to surround herself with a tribe of people who are like that. And he wasn't being judgmental, right? He wasn't saying like, oh, get rid of your friends and get new ones. He was just saying, find more people that believe in magic and goodness and love for no reason for themselves. Not just people who think, well, it could happen to them, but it could never happen to me. He was like, don't do that. And then at the end, he's showing me a brother. And I'm like, did you, do you have a brother? She goes, well, I did. I'm like, did? Okay, so he's passed? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, Miles George, why are you showing me the brother? And I immediately, very clearly get from Miles George, yeah, he was a jerk. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to say that. I don't want to talk bad about someone who's passed away. But it was so clear. So I was like, well, was your brother kind of a jerk in real life? Because Miles George is kind of saying he's a jerk. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, good. I was like, all right, Miles George, what else do you want to say about your brother? Like, please tell me this is not your message about the brother, that he's a jerk. So then Miles George shows me, soon as her brother passed away, he shows me he's just washed clean. And Miles George is like, I just want her to know that as soon as he passed, he got rid of all the negativity and the hurt and the pain and the bullshit, and it was just gone. And he goes, and he's not even here anymore. He's like, he's gone on to the next step of his journey. And I'm telling this to the sister, or to his mom, and she's like, that's just really good to hear. And he's like, I just want her to know he's moved on to the next step. Whatever that is, whatever that looks like, I have no idea. But Miles George was really clear about this. And so then I look at Miles George's picture, and this whole time he's had this really excitable energy, and he just sighs and just relaxes. And I'm like, huh, all right, buddy, like, what's that about? He goes, I'm just so happy that I'm finally able to give her these messages. And so mom had told me she had a communication session with him once before. And I was like, did he not give you these messages like this in the previous session you did? She goes, no. And he goes, I know. He goes, she wasn't ready. She wasn't ready then, but she is now. And I just tell her, I'm so happy I can finally give her all these messages.